Today's big question, why do Americans call it a cookie instead of a biscuit like the British do? Well, before I answer that, let me first preempt Uncle Toby, who's about to type, but Lawrence, Americans do use the word biscuit. I know that, but a biscuit in America is often fluffy, savoury and bread-like instead of crunchy and tea-friendly. It's precisely the latter that we Americans call a cookie, which is a word that us Brits reserve only for chewier biscuits. What, I'm a dual citizen, shut it. But the word cookie didn't enter the American vernacular via the British. It's derived from the Dutch word koekje, meaning little cake, and is first attested in American English from 1808. However, some believe it may have arrived 2 centuries earlier during the Dutch settlement of New Netherland, an area of America's east coast that eventually fell to the British. Either way, the derivation appears not to be connected to an old Scottish sense of the word in which cookie meant plain bun. Actually, now that I think about it, that's almost what Americans describe as a biscuit. It's all very confusing. Of course, when it comes to Britain and America, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Sorry, forgot the mic was muted. Let's start this over. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Freeform Friday. You know, the finale, the online topic potpourri. And we have a mixture along with Puppers. Of course, Puppers is here. All right, let's start off talking about some gold digging men. I think that's a fun topic to, yeah, let's start there.
Women have the same situation sometimes, especially when you get leaked. People always talking about gold digging women. In 2023, it's an epidemic of dudes trying to come up off women.
For sure.
This doesn't just apply to men. It goes both ways.
That's a bar. People don't think, bro.
No, they don't.
Women really, in most relationships, are the breadwinners.
Today, yeah.
Nobody talks
That's
about
what I'm
that.
saying. In 2023,
Bro, like,
women running it up for real.
Bro, girls spending $700 on their hair, $200 on their nails, still got the car.
Yep.
Bro, they spending a bag.
No, women spent bags, bro.
And they still managing it okay. But it's just like, it's the fact that you're doing it. And there's a lot of women who manage their money very fucking well. Ladies, y'all gotta be careful, man.
Because it's some grimy dudes out here. They watching y'all Instagrams. They like, damn, she taking this trip. She buying this.
Let me make some corrections to them. It's not that women are just now doing it now, because we know about the jokes behind guys dropping off their girlfriends at work, at her job, and taking her car all day. Women have been doing it for ourselves. Women have been getting the bag. We lead in entrepreneurship. We lead in corporate occupations. Why do y'all think there are now there's an incel movement? There's a red pill movement. There are so many podcasts of men trying to be relationship gurus. It's because they want to convince women that are out of their league to give them a chance. They need somebody to pay their bills because mommy and grandma about to die, or they already died. And I'm saying this because many, many years ago, there's a guy that I knew, and he used to hide his face, and he called himself the relationship guru on Facebook. And I noticed he was so insecure. He would tell women not to go for guys that worked out because he didn't work out. He would tell ladies, oh, if you get a light-skinned dude, it's going to be like this because he wasn't light-skinned. Everything was to condition women to look at men like him as being the prize and allow women to accept being lied to and being fed a fantasy that will never come true, so that the woman would swoop in and take care of the man. See, the whole thing about gold diggers, first of all, men with money, you ain't got to dig for their gold. They're giving it to you. They're giving it to you. You never see an ugly man with minimal personality, with money, complain about the woman he wanted on his arm. He's happy she on his arm. And he knows what it takes to keep her up, to keep her. The ones always talking about a gold digger here, gold digger there, don't have copper to be dug. But everybody complaining are the ones that need to be taken care of. Women are not afraid to die alone because we are less likely to die alone. We got a sisterhood. And yes, there are some men that are inside the sisterhood. There's some non-binary folks that's inside the sisterhood, but we ain't gonna die alone. When you go to these nursing homes, who's not getting visited? When you go into these hospitals, who's not getting visited? And I even had an ex that used to message me from time to time on Instagram going, oh, I just keep an eye on you because I want to see all these guys you're going through. What guys? Because all the pictures that he was stalking were me by myself. And on his page, when I put my piercings back in, he would like make memes and all these. And I'm like, dude, you're going to die alone. It's okay. Because your kids don't even like you, but that's on you. Now, since the Jason Aldean song debacle has a lot of white people acting like white people confessions hasn't been a thing for years, I've made it a point, and some people have been sending me videos to make it a point that we remind them that these are their confessions.
I have a theory about why Black women and white women are having such a hard time getting along, and it starts with a story. When I first started teaching, I was in a teacher training program with 3 other women. 2 of them were Black and 1 of them was Indian, and we started teaching at the same school, the same grade, at the same time. One of these women, a Black woman, completely excelled. She did so much better than I did at literally everything. Classroom management, her test scores were high. She was excellent at literally everything. And something about her excellence didn't sit right with me. I just didn't feel good about it, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel good about it. It was internalized racism, but I didn't know that yet. So I had to sit with this idea of her being better than me and trying to figure out why it didn't feel good and feel comfortable for me. And of course, at the time, I didn't know that I needed to do the work of anti-racism, so I didn't think it was possibly because I could have internalized racism. I had to do a lot of study and thought about myself and what could possibly be making me feel this way about this woman. And here's what I discovered. Most of the media that I had consumed up to that point in my life had white people as the central characters. And the shows and other media that I consumed that had white women at the central characters often had Black women as the side characters.
Now, stop it right there for 2 reasons. One, I'm going to need everybody to learn vocabulary, maybe on a weekly basis. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it here. Maybe I'll do it on TikTok. We're going to start having vocabulary tests. If you are white, you do not hold internalized racism. You hold racism. 2, I love her partial honesty. And let me explain to you partial honesty, because I know most people heard, oh, she's taking accountability. She sees where she got this from. Partially. See how she takes all the blame away from the people who were around to raise her, the people who have been around to coddle her, the people who have been around to infantilize her, the people who have been around to not correct her. She didn't say, my friends, my family, my parents allowed me to believe this, raised me to believe this, instilled this into me. She tried to blame it on the media. Can we be influenced by media? Yes, but only to a certain extent. You're influenced by something that's already been put into you. If you think I'm stretching, look at the youngest child that you know and someone that you know how they're being raised. Look at what they gravitate towards. Look at what they choose to mimic, because that's what they've been taught is acceptable, is okay. Because if media was so influential over us, there wouldn't be a single gay, trans, or queer person. Because the media is saturated with it. With straight, people that are cis and nothing else. See, art imitates life. Life is not meant to imitate art. And see, that whole excuse, that mentality came starting with the movie California with the K. See, when these little white kids started acting out their murderous fantasies around the time that the movie came out, the parents and the family, it was the movie, it's the movie, it's the movie, it's the media. The motherfuckers who was committing these crimes had never seen the movie. But nobody paid attention to that. Nobody caught on to that. That's when they started blaming the media, the media's influence. So explain to me all these Mormons, all these evangelical Christians who have children that don't let them look at anything, don't let them pretty much watch anything. How them motherfuckers out here in these streets fucking like porn stars and shooting up everything like they living in GTA. Because everybody that I knew that went to a parochial school, specifically a Catholic school, been sucking and fucking before they could sign their name on a dotted line. Bussing it down. Know how to get uppers, downers, and everything in between. Hustling, grifting, forging documents that shit, even the most trained eye couldn't pick that it was a forgery. What media taught them that? It's a way of taking the responsibility off the parents. Go with me here. Go with me here. Have you noticed that these conservatives that want to tell you how to raise your kid, like, don't raise my kids. It should be always have an excuse that it's somebody else's fault that their kids were raised wrong, that their kids came out wrong, that their kids are killing their classmates, that their kids are raping their classmates, that their kids are causing their classmates to become addicted. Because if they're so perfect and God is the truth and the light, and he answers every prayer and he's right on time for us and our babies, then why is it always their kids is fucking shit up? When was the last time you saw a mass shooter that was atheist or Muslim or Norse pagan god? A Buddhist? Hindu? Someone who practices Kemetism? Nope, they're not taking responsibility for their kids. They never do. The only time you see them take responsibility for their kids is when they can take credit for their children's hard work. That this child did this in spite of. But as soon as they become an embarrassment, don't nobody see them, don't nobody know them. And speaking of pride in the Golden Child, did you know that there's a Pride in America Month festival? I didn't either. Take a look.
Maybe I'm just really tired and that's why I'm confused right now. Or maybe it's not me. This event is being advertised as Pride in America Month, where they're celebrating the war between the states. And you're invited to come out to family fun at the Lake County Historical Society and Museum. What's fun about the Civil War? And why are we advertising this as Pride in America? Why are we proud of this? Please tell me that I'm not the only one who's confused about the marketing and advertising for this event. Keep in mind, this is Florida, so you know, a lot of this probably makes sense for Florida. But am I missing something here at all?
Are you catching why so many people don't see Trump's self-coup or the January 6th insurrection as an insurrection? See how they're not calling the Civil War the Civil War? See how they're making it so family friendly, and they're going to have Ulysses S. Grant come and talk to the people. They're celebrating a coup attempt. They're celebrating treason. But I promise you, if you ask them about Benedict Arnold, they'll lose their shit. They'll lose their shit. They'll lose their shit. So what's the difference between the Civil War that came after Benedict Arnold and Benedict Arnold? Because Benedict Arnold, the first presidential residence, because there were a total of three, two before the White House and then the White House. Well, the White House as we know it. The first one, Benedict Arnold lived there for a while. That's where he was doing his treasonous activity at. Like, how disrespectful. Then came the Civil, like, but they're out there celebrating it. They're well, at least they stopped calling it the War of Northern Aggression. Acting like the North just had its period too hard. And the South just wasn't giving us enough chocolate. The fuck? Well, Macedonians are out here in these streets, kind of, sort of, telling the truth, kind of, sort of. Take a look.
I talked to a Trump supporter today. He had actual pictures of Donald Trump sitting outside his RV that he sets up every time he gets somewhere. And I asked him why he did that. And he said, because he's a true patriot. And I said, describe that. What's a true patriot? And the first thing he said was, well, he knows how to put colored folks in their place. I said, I really appreciate you talking to me today. It's been very enlightening. And I wish it wasn't quite that simple, but just go ahead and say it. Why don't you just put a sign up and say, I'm a racist, instead of saying I'm for Donald Trump? He wasn't happy when I left. There are a bunch of other nice people here. 2 people slapped me a high five when I was walking out. Yeah, crazy.
Now, I don't know. Well, first of all, we all know, and I'm not going to be like everybody else. Where they always say, "I'm not saying everybody that supports Trump isn't a racist, but I know." Yes, the fuck they are. Stop trying to give people an out. Stop trying to give people a smoke screen in order to live in. We already knew that. My question is, where he putting us? What place he done put us in? Because I find it very funny that all of his co-defendants that are getting indicted right along with him on the same indictment, they're Latina, they're Hispanic. Thought he couldn't stand them. Did y'all notice that? But from that to this, because remember, I keep telling y'all, the same people who have a problem with immigration now love taking pride in telling stories about how they janky ass non-English speaking ancestors came here as minors, underage, with a couple dollars in their pocket, and they made it. We can make it anywhere.
I'm going to show you two pictures, and I want to see if you can tell me the difference. Here's the first picture. Here is Speaker McCarthy with the Prime Minister of Italy bragging about how his grandfather came over from Italy at 16 years old with only $10 in his pocket, and he was welcomed by Lady Liberty. And now here is the second picture. Republican Governor Greg Abbott orders troops to push migrant children back into the Rio Grande River and deny them water. Did you notice the difference? Why is it a proud moment for Speaker McCarthy to talk about his underage grandfather coming here with no money, no resources? But that same party is drowning migrant children, denying them aid, and putting up barbed wire fences in the river to cut them and cause them harm as they're trying to get the exact same freedom as Speaker McCarthy's grandfather did. And what's worse is Speaker McCarthy knows full well the bigotry that Italians faced when they immigrated to America. Yet he's perpetuating that exact same bigotry to Latino immigrants seeking the human right to asylum. I'm an immigrant, proudly, and I'm running for Congress as a U.S. citizen because justice can't wait. Support our campaign so we can have meaningful immigration reform in Congress with people who are willing to speak truth to power.
That's because just like Cubans in Florida, they want that adjacency to whiteness because they believe that adjacency to whiteness is going to give them the same level of privilege that they have. And a lot of people immigrants that come here and immediately start voting conservative, even when they have the proper complexion or close enough to the proper complexion for protection, they know that these same politicians are very public, very vocal about not having respect for them and not having a certain level of disdain for them. But you have to realize these are also the people who are the creme de la creme from their originating country. Ugh. So they want that same respect that they had back home, not realizing that they can get that same respect, but they're looking for the power also. In the conservative movement, the Christian evangelical movement, that tyrannical movement, just like during the founding of this country, is surrounded by the idea that we can be powerful over everyone else. But see, when they sell you that power, just like when we had the door-to-door vacuum salesman, it's just an illusion that they're selling you. No. Not correct, D-Mac. The difference in the double standards between then and now is who they're moving the goalpost for in order to be white. Because let's not forget, 4 years ago, Asian Americans could register on the census as white, could apply for loans and college applications as white. Tell me what person from the continent of Africa fits the definition of whiteness. And see, the double standard goes deeper. It goes deeper than skin tone because it also goes into classism. Because when was the last time you heard a poor person talking about their Polish great-great-grandma coming over here? It's one of those, what's classy if you're rich and trashy if you're poor. See, it's classy to have immigrant lineage and heritage if you're rich. It's trashy if you're poor. Because what's the biggest stigma regarding racism amongst white people? What's the one thing they try to use to pit us against each other? If you came from this country and you was already in this country, why aren't you as successful as they are? And speaking of which, that brings me to the latest MLM grift. Remember how from time to time I tell y'all, you don't have to respond to everybody on the internet. Sometimes, just like I do, sit back and watch. Especially when you see when somebody shows up on your FYP because so many people are duetting them, so many people are stitching them, so many people are trying to check them, and they have a take that is so outrageous. And I tell y'all, leave it alone, sit back. It's because it's always attached to a grift, whether it's an MLM grift or a singular grift. Here's the latest, because I'm pretty sure you'll recognize one of these people from this latest MLM as someone who proclaimed that they cosplay homelessness for 3 hours. Take a look.
I'm going to tell you the formula for wealth. I'm going to tell you how to make any problem in your life go away. I've said before that phase 2 is an actual literal secret of the wealthy that they don't share publicly, but what actually is the secret? If you've never heard of phase 2 before, that's literally just occurred to me. I'm telling you, just get the money out of the way. Money is the easiest experience to expand, and my absolute favorite thing about phase 2 since I started learning it and applying it in my life is that literally
if you want to be abundantly wealthy, then I suggest you try phase 2. I've actually been following phase 2 my whole life, but I didn't know what it was called until recently. But today, I just proved that it works. In phase 2, we learn how all the stories that we tell ourselves are absolute bullshit, and you get to control whether you get sad, anxious, depressed. So a couple of weeks ago, I got this refund.
Imagine if you had infinite, unlimited, unconditional permission slips to do whatever the hell you feel like doing all the time. Oh wait, you already do. But you did this really, look at these fucking clouds I created. Are you joking? This is a video game. You don't have to do anything, ever. Ever. Are you having fun playing the game yet, or are you still being a victim to it? It's literally just occurred to me, intrusive thoughts are literally just your intuition. And they are fantasies and things that you think about that you...
I did not look up phase 2. Now, before I saw this compilation video, I had gone, because there was another video shared by Mandy, Miss I Cosplay Homeless for 3 hours. She lives with her mentors. She proclaims herself to be retired at 26, but is trying to sell you phase 2. Other people live with other people. Phase 2 is the ultimate white privileged default damsel in distress. It's basically being a perpetual teenager in someone else's home. Hear me out on this. It's giving Manson cult. It's giving in-your-face trafficking. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but think about it. What adults, because there's multiple adults who seem to be the property owners, what adults are going to let a non-family member just come live with them and pay nothing? Just walk around all day and make all these videos. And the mindset, when you hear all of them, is giving stuck in teenager. When you look at the Manson cult, as these women were on trial, they were snatched up as teenagers. They were left with that teenage mentality. And how much you want to bet? When they don't pay, when they don't sell enough of the little phase 2, because isn't this similar to how Andrew Tate was getting women to come to him in his brother's house? As we're looking at the case, as things are being made public regarding the sex trafficking and pornography ring that Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan had going, isn't this sounding just like how they got these women to come to the house initially? And because they look so happy and healthy and, oh, no, they're just selling this. You know, the MLM girlies, they'll learn, they'll get out of it. First of all, the regular, schmegular MLM girlies aren't getting out of it. But Chad, okay, I guess. And Speaking of, oh Lord, let's do it. Pearl. I don't know what's going on this week. First, Moses was the voice of reasoning.
90-year-old Senator Dianne Feinstein appeared.
So hold on, wrong video. What is going on with me this week? Probably because everything looks the same. Did I put it up here? Oh, here it is. There we go. So yeah, Piers Morgan is a voice of reason. Take a look.
A major backlash of posting a song titled "Why Can't We Talk About the Jews," which he dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
Why can't we talk about them without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
You've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song, and I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it. Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media if you finish the song. It was more about, like, you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of just like tongue in cheek. I didn't really expect it to get that crazy.
We're going to keep going. But remember, I keep pointing out to you all that all of these pundits, all of these grifting talking heads, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. What does that mean? Explain this word to me. I was caught off guard. I thought we were going to talk about something else. I was prepared with the something else because I wrote down all of the talking points I got off of Breitbart and Fox News last night. Watch your body language. Let's keep going.
It wasn't dedicated to anyone. I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a...
It was 100% dedicated to someone because this is the fourth time, and we've covered it here on this show, that she's fangirled and heavily defended Nick Fuentes, who's extremely racist with the last name Fuentes. That's internalized racism right there. It's like she's crushing hard on Nick. Nicky Poo don't want you, boo-boo. He want a sword fight. But let's keep going.
White supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on the Jews, which he clearly took to be something which was, mocking Jewish people. Talking about, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like
we talked about the more conspiracy theory.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? First of all, Piers Morgan never makes fucking sense. We know he's a raging racist. We see how he attacks his ultimate crush, Meghan Markle. What the fuck is going on this week? Is it the amount of caffeine I've had? I digress. He even knows you've gone too far, but he even said, you seem to know where the line is, which means she doesn't believe it, which means she has firm beliefs and firm stances, but she wants that dollar more than anything, and she doesn't have a discernible talent. Before she started doing this, the only way she was getting attention and making money online was when she was in a relationship with the TikTok creator, Angry Reactions. Then she fucked it up by cheating on him, and now she done turned into Andrea Tate that's fangirling and foaming at the mouth for Nick Fuentes. But let's keep going.
Theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably.
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. Like, you know, people think I'm part of the CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online.
No one thinks that. No one think. Bitch, you dumb. Don't nobody think that. Don't. First of all, bitch, when you downplayed the intellect and the business prowess of your own mother and plausibly put your parents' business in financial jeopardy with the IRS with the last time you made a guest spot on somebody else's show, nobody thinks that you're in the CIA. We think you need to go MIA. Shit.
And, you know, I'm not for like silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't like I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more...
Did we all hear the same damn song or not? Did we hear the same damn song or not? Pearl. Is common sense in the room with you right now? Pearl. You smell burning toast, girl. Do you?
I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far so that I don't even, like, I think
we need to ban you off the planet. E.T. Look. Hear me out, E.T. It's been 40-something years. Okay. You want the phone home? We got you the Reese's Pieces. We got you the nice little seat and the bucket of the bike, and we got you home. You want a pet, don't you? She's housebroken. We'll include a muzzle, ball gag muzzle, potato. Can you take her though? Can you take her? We'll throw in some cookies. When's the last time you had some Reese's Pieces? We got jumbo bags now. Like I can go down to the Walmart and get you, I can get you a bag this the size of you from Costco if you give me like till tomorrow. Come on, E.T., come get her.
it should be illegal to ban anybody off of social media unless they're inciting violence. That was the point of the song. I'm not really... It was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't
you know
know
the ones. You know the ones that Nick Fuentes.
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick. I was thinking of Ye, to be honest. I don't know why they put that Nick was the inspiration for that song. I was thinking of Ye.
You are aware.
That's even worse. Okay, first of all, little background information. Y'all know that she once aspired to be a singer. I don't know if she still has the video up on her LinkedIn, but yeah. Delusions of grandeur in white women. Okay. But I'm going to sit here and defend Nick Fuentes, but I wasn't thinking about Nick Fuentes. I was thinking about Kanye. What the fuck? Let's just...
of the big backlash to this and the deep upset from the Jewish community.
I certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like, article.
Pearl. You're used to this shit. You keep doing all of this stuff for clickbait. It's just this time, the incels and your fellow pick-me's knew that you went too far. And even your fellow racists were like, oh, we can't back you on this. We can, because you were already getting articles and backlash from your little tweet the other day where you said that basically you agreed that 16-year-old girls are hotter and better to date than 26-year-old girls, and you're neither. You's a basic bitch waiting to get picked. And you agreeing with all the bullshit that all the incel racists are saying, and they still not picking you. Because you're not who they want. They say this shit to try to feel like the man, but behind closed doors, they'll shut the fuck up and let somebody like me cuss them out every damn day till they get right.
I was like, golly.
Right, but are you
this is
sorry?
Crazy. You know, I think that, like, my whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking one way or the other about the issues. My question is, why are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denial to millions of people? You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right? That's a big audience of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes.
Why did you cut off the end of the song? I said, but we can't.
Same way you do, Pearl. See, Pearl, you learn these tactics from the likes of Pierce. And before, Pierce has staunchly defended you when you've come on his show against other women, because generally he doesn't respect women. He is extremely misogynist, extremely, on top of everything else. But you learned these tactics. You said, well, why did you cut it off? Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Because you want to change the context for people to agree with you, and you can feel like a victim, and hopefully people will come to your aid. It's just this time, they don't want the ending of this show to give you an excuse to be infantilized for the 2 billionth time.
Even have the conversation.
What is the conversation you want to have?
Without being canceled by the left and the right.
But what
the point is any speech.
No, think it's not any speech.
Notice how it's no longer just the left that's canceling people, even though it's the right that fails that and is always threatening it. But she's saying the left and the right. That's how you know you've gone too far.
It's not any speech. Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense. Kanye's been wiped out by what he did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am absolutely in support of the concept of free speech, right? But you can't go around telling Jewish people the Holocaust didn't happen as Fuentes. And people like Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So you're bringing me up. So it's like,
no, but when you sing a song,
right,
and you talk about
who
Hitler,
determines what the line is, Pierce?
Well, I'm asking
who determines? Do you get to determine it?
No, I'm asking,
Does she get to determine
I'm asking you to.
Who gets to determine what the line is?
I'm asking you to work out in your head.
I'm saying the
you're
line,
not a stupid person.
The line.
When you say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. Right? When you talk about the more conspiracy theories about him I hear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that and releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
I think at the end of the day, Pierce, I don't think it's for you to determine what speech should be allowed and not allowed.
What about you determining? Why did you delete it?
Why did I delete it?
Yeah.
Because it was just a headache, Pierce.
Because you knew it was wrong?
I just think it's like, it's not the hill I'm trying to die on.
Right, but why did you choose that hill to die on?
I didn't choose this hill to die on.
You did. You released the video.
I also released.
Did somebody else write the song for her? No. Did we see anybody holding a gun to her head in that video, forcing her to sing it? I don't even know if that's create it and release it. Lord Jesus. This is like the video that will never end. Let's go.
10 different videos about
but they're not all basically
topics.
But they're not talking about Adolf Hitler, are they?
Are we not allowed to talk about him?
You can talk about Hitler right to the point you say the more conspiracy theories I hear about him.
I think that anyone should be allowed to speak about any conspiracy theory on social media. That is my point. It's not about Hitler. It's not about...
Okay. Something just really made my smarticle particles like burst into action. since she thinks that any conspiracy theory should be able to fly online, I challenge everybody to figure out a conspiracy theory regarding her and ask friends and family and just put it out there. Just put it out there. If you got Twitter or Threads, tag her in it. If you're on TikTok, tag her in it. Since she loves conspiracy, and make it as far-fetched as possible. Make it as egregious as possible. Make it as uncomfortable as possible. And no, I'm not saying bully. I'm saying, y'all know how conspiracy theories work. Give her what she asked for. Give her what she asked for. You want to be famous? Guess what? You're going to go down in the history book as the one woman on the planet that broke the Guinness World Record for having the most conspiracy theories about her because she's a dumb bitch. Dumb bitch, silly bitch, stupid bitch, get off the internet, bitch.
Believe what you did wasn't wrong, you wouldn't have deleted it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't you think?
I agree with Pearl.
Go on, bro.
If I may just say one thing, as an attorney, I have to say that I do agree with her, that I am a free speech purist. And I think that even bigotry should be able to be spoken in the public sphere. But the problem of cancel culture is not against anti-Jewish speech. I think that's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising on the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it. And the way that private companies
How are there no consequences for it?
Canceling is they're going after pro-Jewish speech. They're going after...
Pearl just said, how are there no consequences to it? Bitch, you put out an anti-Semitic song. You had a racist come on to your podcast that I ain't seen you on in a while. So I'm hoping your former bestie kicked you to fuck off of there, because we already know you lost one bestie because we covered that a couple months ago on the show. You let this man, Nick Fuentes, disrespect your co-host on air with some blatant racism. Yet for, as far as I know, the third time you've been on Piers Morgan's show. Third time. You've been invited to extremely large podcasts. So no, there aren't any consequences. This reeks of the video trend going around on TikTok with Aldean's bullshit poser country song, where people are like, you have rights unless you're white and own guns and drink beer and conservative and Republican. Like, who the fuck? Shut up. That's like me sitting here going, I'm being silenced on YouTube as y'all are watching me say what the fuck I want on YouTube. Jesus. This is why the good Lord didn't make me white. They'd have kicked me out the clan a long time ago. Here we go.
Pro-Israel speech. I can't tell you how many times I'm contacted by people, and often my own clients, who are shut down on social media for saying anything positive about Jewish people, about Judaism, or about Israel. Yet these social media companies are unequally applying their own standards. And, you know, while they're, for example, shutting down COVID deniers, they are allowing Holocaust denial speech. They are allowing people like Pearl to spew her hatred. So if you are really free speech purists, and that's what we are saying that companies should do, they should allow all speech.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I would just say this to you, Pearl.
Unless it's incitement to immediate violence.
Right, I would say this to you, Pearl.
So we agree.
No,
Wow.
Pearl, I would say this to you.
Oh, on the same team now.
In conclusion, look, you deleted this, so you clearly felt bad about what you put up. Or you wouldn't have deleted it. You accept that?
No.
You don't accept it?
I just, you know, it's kind of a headache. I was like, well, it just seems like a lot of headache to me.
Right, or did you realize actually in that moment, from the visceral reaction from the Jewish community, you crossed a line that you yourself should have worked out was there?
Look, at the end of the day, Pierce, the
And then
song was about freedom of speech. It wasn't one way or the other.
Where you
The
at,
song
bruh?
was about why can't we
Come
have
back
these
to us,
conversations
bruh.
on social media,
Bruh.
and why do I keep getting
About why Hitler may be a good guy.
why do I keep seeing people get banned on social media? My point is, I don't think there should be a line unless you are inciting violence.
Here's a
Would
line.
we, wait, Pierce, would we agree on that?
Listen,
Yes or no? Yes or no? Would we agree?
Here's my point.
No, yes,
You haven't
no?
answered my question.
Okay.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. I want to know why what?
We can't have the conversation without being canceled by the left and the right. I just don't understand why you guys edit. You guys cut out the end of the song.
Paul.
You did 75.
Paul.
Okay.
The conversation about whether Hitler was a good guy. You want to have that conversation?
I think that
he murdered 12 million people,
my whole
including
point,
6 million Jewish people on a Holocaust.
My whole point is we should be able to have that conversation.
But whether he's a good guy?
Yes, because it causes more commotion when you're starting to censor people.
I don't agree.
Like, I think that's wrong.
Okay. I thought we were going to be able to get through the full video. I can't. Get somebody else to do it. Why they take our girl Brooke away like that? Brooke. What did you to get? What? And the nightly photo bomb from. How rude! Can you get your booty off of me? Get your booty up. Get down. Thank you. Personal space. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Third. You're being very Kevin Spacey right now, okay? Hashtag me too. Get you some consent. Sit down. I did not consent to being touched. Sit down here. There, you can lean up against me. That's about it. Jesus. Jesus, more on the umbilical. Look, we're not fighting. Look, I'm not about to fight you on camera because some crazy white lady is gonna want to try to call PETA on me. And you know PETA likes to put dogs down just for GP. They crazy. You want to be they'll turn you into a cult for real. You're gonna have the real Cruella de Vil at the door, acting like she want to save you. She ain't gonna want to save you. Quit. Stop. We got to get to the am I the assholes that people sent in? Would you be still? Shit. Y'all be thinking we don't really be arguing. Yes, we do. Okay, we got 2 am I the assholes? Would you quit? And yeah, I don't know what they are. Didn't watch them because I was told not. What's wrong with you? So let's go.
My M29 fiancé F24 told my daughter I'm not your fucking mom. My fiancé and I have been together for 5 years and we met when my daughter was 8 months old, and she's been the only person my daughter actually knows as a mother. My fiancé was pregnant, but after getting into an accident in March, she lost our baby. She was then told that she could most likely never get pregnant again, which crushed her. She's been in grief counseling ever since and things have been getting better. Our baby was supposed to be born this Monday, and that has really affected us, and it's been a really bad week for her. 3 days ago was the due date of the baby and my daughter was refusing to go to bed that night. She was crying and was having a meltdown. After a while of that, she repeated mom once again, and that's when my fiancé yelled I'm not your fucking mom followed by some other stuff. My mom was in the room, heard that, then got my daughter. I lost my temper and went off. I was just so angry. I understand she was under a lot of stress and it was a bad day, but just thinking about the fact that will most likely be a core memory for my daughter forever is upsetting. From the day she was born, it was just me and her, and then I met my fiancé. It was risky.
Okay, this one I actually did read on Reddit. So let me give y'all some more information, okay? Yes, this was the day, the due date of the full-blown child that this woman had to give birth to stillborn. His mother was there. He was not comforting her. There is a part 2, well, at least on Reddit, where he claims they were all in the same room together. Because initially he said his mother was in the room. He was not comforting this child. After several people in the comments kept asking him, he was like, oh, well, I was trying to comfort the child, but the child wanted the money. No. If the child understood that she was pregnant and now is not pregnant, either you didn't explain things properly for a 7-year-old to understand, because the child is now 7. And if you had your mother there, why were you not consoling this young lady? And he has known this girl since she was 17, 18. Started dating her at 19. Insta mom. And he's like, no, she didn't start being mom to my daughter right away. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. You're just telling the public that you started dating her at 19. Because why would you say I met her when my daughter was 8 months old if you didn't start dating her until your daughter would have been well over a year old? She didn't miscarry. She had a stillborn baby. And whatever the accident was traumatic enough to mess her reproductive organs up. And for her to scream, I'm not your fucking mother, that means that wasn't just one time that day that this child was having a tantrum and she was being looked towards to fix it while she's grieving. That means the other adults in the house didn't say shit, didn't do shit. And that means that she's spoken to the other adults in the house multiple times. So everybody in that comment section, it's like, leave her. How could she ever say that to a child? Fuck you. Stop living in these fantasy worlds. This is why anxiety and depression is so fucking high in this country right now and amongst younger generations, because everybody wants to pretend to be so fucking perfect, as if they have not been stressed, as if shit is not going to bother them, as if parenthood is so perfect and your children are just the love of your lives every day. No, motherfucker. Most of parenthood is you looking at somebody going, God damn, you stupid. Where the hell did you get that shit from? You have a handful of days as a parent where you are proud and you're like, come here, you little snot-filled petri dish, and come give me a hug. That is the goddamn truth. Your children, till the day you die, will take you through some shit where you have to remind yourself that you love this motherfucker, let alone somebody else's kid when you're grieving. And all these women, I would leave her. I would leave. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I had a 2-piece, you dumb bitches. But you don't say that to a child. Okay. Go get pregnant right now. Go get pregnant right now. A week before your due date, let me fuck you up with a baseball bat. Let me fuck you up with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire so that I can fuck up your reproductive organs. Then let me put you in a house with a gang of 7-year-olds. 7-year-olds, not toddlers. 7-year-olds that's screaming, mommy, 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 all day long. And don't none one of them belong to you. Tell me what you're going to say to them. Tell me what you're going to say to them then. Especially when there's other adults around that ain't doing shit. Like, I'm going to really need people to start being so fucking for real and stop with this. I'm so perfect. Nothing bothers me. Every situation I handle perfectly. Nothing gets under my skin. I've had not a hardship in my life. And your ass is crying every night because your husband / boyfriend / girlfriend or wife is fucking around on you, don't like you, is only there waiting for the youngest child to get grown, because the only way you got them there is that you threaten to run away with them every other fucking day. You don't have the 2 pennies to scrape together to be by yourself, so you need to make everybody else feel less than you, just like they used to do in 1950s. And even, here's the thing. I have been married with children, single with children, a single parent with children, the whole nine. First of all, as a woman, my responsibilities really didn't change. They really didn't. And the truth is, everybody acts like every day of parenting or every day in a marriage or in a relationship is this Hallmark bullshit. No, most of the days, you're irritated with your kids. You're slightly pissed the fuck off. You looking at them like, how the fuck did I create this hot mess? It's the truth. My kids are grown as shit right now. I still look at them like, the fuck? How did you know what? You at least you ain't in my house doing this shit no more. And you move on. These kids ain't fucking perfect. Shit, we ain't perfect. Kids be sitting here, parents be sitting here walking around like, it was so easy raising little Tanya. Who raised little Tanya for you? Because no the fuck it wasn't. No the fuck it wasn't. You know you wanted to square up with Tanya ass 67 goddamn times while you was raising her. You know you did. Especially when they get to teenage years, as my papa used to call the crazies. Because all of a sudden they think they know everything. And they want to talk back and this mine. You can't tell me what to do with mine. Nope, but I can knock you the fuck out so I ain't got to listen to you no more. Come on. You think you Evander Holyfield? I think I'm Mike Tyson. Let's see who right. Come on. You grown, I'm grown, square up. Like shit. You love your kids, but do y'all not remember how y'all were sick? A lot of us, the only reason we still here is because our parents was like, fuck it, we don't care. Okay, we got insurance on this motherfucker. We don't care. All right, let's see what the other am I the asshole? What do you want?
Am I in the wrong for refusing to go with my 16-year-old daughter to her father's funeral? My ex-husband passed away 2 days ago at the age of 36. My 16-year-old daughter begged that I go with her to the funeral because she said she doesn't know anyone there and needs my support and guidance. I refused because I did not feel comfortable and then seeing my former in-laws. It's just not worth the pain, plus that her grandparents and her younger uncle that she adores so much will be there, so that is good enough. I also offered to have my brother drive her there and return her home later, but she refused and kept begging that I go with her. I told her no and that I have my reasons and that's it. She unloaded on me yesterday, calling me bitter and selfish, and said that my hatred for her dad is still there and is disgusting. I was really hurt. I had an argument with her but didn't punish her for what she called me because she's grieving and is processing her father's passing. I just cut the argument and told her to go upstairs. She went inside her room and refused to come out for lunch and dinner. My boyfriend tried to stay with her and get her to eat, but she refused. He told me later that this is obviously something my daughter is not dealing with properly and suggested I just go to the funeral because if I don't then there will be lasting resentment from my daughter. I went to bed but couldn't sleep over this. I feel like just because she wants this doesn't mean I just go with it. I never push her to do anything she doesn't want to do. Just a minute for those who are suspecting that there's a girlfriend there that I don't want to see. No, nothing like that. My ex-husband never dated after me because he was dealing with multiple chronic conditions, which is the main reason for our separation.
That is one selfish son of a bitch. See, this is why some people should not have children, and people need to stop being pushed and stop pushing people into having children. First of all, I'm gonna need somebody to break it down to this child that the mother doesn't hate or have resentment or jealousy towards the father. Did y'all not catch why she wasn't with the father? Because he had chronic illnesses. I hope that child doesn't get sick. You can't go to a funeral because it would be too tough for you. It's too tough for you because you don't want your daughter to realize how much of a piece of shit you are, but she already knows how much of a piece of shit you are because you can't support her. You are acting as if you are a teenager along with your daughter. I don't ask her to do stuff she's not comfortable with. She's the fucking... Hand over custody of that child to her daddy's family. Go ahead and hand over custody to the daddy's family. Go ahead. Because I have a feeling she's 16. She got 2 more years. She gonna come in and whoop your ass and then go no contact. She gonna come in and whoop your ass and it's sad. And boyfriend, leave too. Don't get a cold, don't get sick, don't lose your job, don't do shit. This bitch done already said she don't give a fuck about nobody. She don't give a fuck about nobody. Not a soul. Yeah, the last little bit, she threw it in there at the end. He didn't date after me because he was suffering from chronic illnesses. That's why he died suddenly at the age of 36. It wasn't suddenly. This man was dying. What we hear about the statistics of men leaving women when they're sick, yes, very, very true. But there are a lot of women who want the aesthetic of a man, but as soon as he gets sick, she can't give support to anybody. But I bet you she's the type, soon as she gets the sniffles, she wants to be waited on hand and foot. All right, I'm not gonna keep y'all too much longer on this Good Friday night. I got 2 more videos. Yeah, they're both regarding Trump. And they both have some comedy. Let's start with this one that I call the dumb down for Trump. And I know we joke about how the briefings were put together for Trump. We now have confirmation, and it is what we thought, plus worse, if that's possible. It's possible. Take a look.
All right, there was a hilarious article in Salon today, and it was an interview with the guys at Midas Touch. So if you don't follow Midas Touch, you should. They're a lot of fun and very informative. But I loved what was in this article. It's hilarious, but not all that surprising. So at the Midas Touch, they interviewed a Department of Homeland Security official who used to be in charge of giving President Trump classified materials. And I love this paragraph. It says, Trump literally can't read. The man doesn't read. We've got to boil this down into a one-pager in his voice. And this is something they're talking about that's normally a 50-page memo, okay? Taylor told the podcast host Brent Misalis on Tuesday, and so I had to write this incandescently stupid memo called something like Afghanistan, how to put America first and win. And then bullet by bullet, I summed up this highly classified memo into Trump's sort of bombastic language because it was the only way he was going to understand. Taylor added, I mean, I literally said in there, you know, if we leave Afghanistan too fast, the terrorists will call us losers. But if we want to be seen as winners, we need to make sure the Afghan forces have the strength to push back against these criminals. I mean, it was that dumb, and that's how you had to talk to him. Now, I have seen things about Trump that I doubt now and then, but this is not one of them. This one seems perfectly and completely plausible to me. What about you guys?
During the first 90 days of his, I guess we can call it presidency, I remember hearing that he wanted his briefings to be as close to one page as possible. I've never been president, never been vice president, never been chief of staff for the president, no nothing. But in my research and learning and going to school through the collegiate level, it just seemed logical that, you know, the commander-in-chief of the free world would get very detailed, very intricate briefings that you can't really cliff note down to a page or two. And given that, watching all of the interviews with Trump and how simplistic these journalists make their language in order to just speak to him, I was wondering. I was truly wondering. Now to hear this, Jesus, he really only understands. Now all the conversations that are coming out regarding January 6th make so much sense. You can't talk to him like a regular person. It's like speaking to Tarzan. Which also makes sense, given the racist undertones and overtones of Tarzan and the whole purpose of Tarzan being put up. But that's a conversation for another day. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's the final story for the night. Let's take a look and talk about it on the other end.
They tried to flood the basement. Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Okay. So, Trump is being supersedingly indicted, which is a fancy way for the government to be like, yeah, we knew you fucked up. We didn't realize you fucked up this bad. We gotta change the charges to add this really super important one.
This new superseding indictment in which De Oliveira is named accuses De Oliveira of being part of this effort to, among other things, delete security camera footage from a server at Mar-a-Lago, what the feds would characterize as a destruction of evidence.
So the reason why the government and the National Archives and the feds are making such a big deal about these classified documents that Trump took is because, well, one, they know what was fucking missing. Like, first of all, how is Trump gonna try and convince everyone that the only thing he took were, like, newspaper clippings and shit? Like, how are you gonna convince the person you rob what the fuck is missing? So we knew the nature of the classified documents that Trump was holding for ransom, right? So they're like defensive capabilities of our allies, nuclear programs, or like the secret identities of our spies. We knew all that shit. What we were not counting on was that this idiot would flash the Iranian attack plans to some random reporter that was recording him as proof that he did not fuck up the Iran deal during his administration and be like, oh, see here, look at this, like, we were always going to attack Iran, so Iran backing out of the deal wasn't my fucking fault.
Charges against Donald Trump, including that episode involving the alleged attempts to delete the security camera video, but also a particular document held at a particular time. In July 2021, we believe this is a reference to that document detailing possible war plans or military plans involving Iran.
That was the audio file that was leaked to the press, was him showing how we would attack another fucking country. I don't think you understand how stupid all this shit is. That shit happened in October. The feds were knocking at his door in fucking August. Like, I don't think you understand. The feds weren't hiding the fact that they were camping in front of Mar-a-Lago because they've been asking Trump for the documents back for a whole fucking year. You think our government wanted to arrest the former president? Like, we look like fucking idiots. And so Trump tried to hide the evidence of him flashing that shit to a reporter by trying to flood his own house so that the surveillance tapes would be lost. And the feds are the whole time just looking out their window like, what are you fucking doing?
It is. It's like the Three Stooges go to the White House. Because I remember when the pool was drained and then there was flooding inside Mar-a-Lago and with the servers, and I'm like, that's not gonna do what you think it's gonna do. And now it's clear because Trump employee 4 refused to delete these things. And he was slick about it. He was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I don't think we can do that. Are you sure? Like, he was slick about it to get around it. And it was him that was like, started turning over evidence and everything. So Trump is like a seventh grader, not a seventh grader, a second grader that feels like, yeah, if I was president of the world, this is how it's going to be. Would you stop? Like, yeah, let's drain the pool and flood the server room. Because even if you, let's say he convinced his IT professional to erase information, erase everything off the server. Trump, you had more than that information on the servers. But okay. Like, you're worried about the servers, but not room after room after room of boxes. I swear, the dumber people are, the more than, I guess. As always, thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. Remember, I will see you on Monday for the Monday Mix-Up. I got one final video for you. Hopefully, it'll bring you a little sunshine. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. And make sure you check out the links in the description of this bio. Till Monday, y'all.